All right, so today we're going to continue to talk about converting mixed numbers into decimals. So we're going to start with 1a and then look at a few on the back as well. So 1a, I have 2 and 35 hundredths. So I have two holes, so I'm going to shade in my holes first. That's one hole, and two holes. So I know if I look at this number line now, I have to be somewhere around my two holes part when I'm going to place this on my number line. Now I have 35 hundredths. So my 35 hundredths, 2 and 35 hundredths. If I expand that, that's going to expand into 2 plus 30 hundredths plus 5 hundredths. So my 5 hundredths, that's already written with a digit. My 2, that is already a digit as well. My holes, my ones is a digit. My hundredths is a digit. My problem is this 30. My 30 is not a digit, so I need to change my 30 hundredths into tenths by dividing by 10 tenths. That's going to give me my 3 tenths. So now I have 2 holes, 3 tenths, and 5 hundredths. So if I go back to my area model, I need 3 tenths. So 1, 2, 3 tenths. And I have 5 hundredths, so I have to split this next tenth into hundredths. And I have 5 of those. So if I look at my place value chart now, I have my ones, tens, hundreds. I'm going to make a little simpler place value chart today. I have 2 ones, 3 tenths, and 5 hundredths. So my decimal becomes 2 and 35 hundredths. So like I said before, I have 2 holes here plus a little bit more. So that tells me that this decimal has to fall somewhere between 2 and 3. I don't quite have 3 holes, but I have more than 2 holes. So if I look at this number line, I'm going to fill in the rest of my number line. I have, this is broken into tenths, so I have 2 and 2 and 1 tenth, 2 and 2 tenths, 2 and 3 tenths, 2 and 4 tenths, 2 and 5 tenths, 2 and 6 tenths, 2 and 7 tenths, 2 and 8 tenths, 2 and 9 tenths, and then 3 holes at the very end. Alright, my number's in hundredths though, so this is where yesterday a lot of us got confused. So my number's in hundredths. I have 35 hundredths, but down here I only have tenths. So I can also look at these as 2 and 1 tenth. That's the same as 2 and 10 hundredths. 2 and 2 tenths is equivalent to 2 and 20 hundredths. 2 and 3 tenths is the same as, is equivalent to 2 and 30 hundredths. Then 2 and 40 hundredths. 2 and 50 hundredths. 2 and 60 hundredths. 2 and 70 hundredths. 2 and 80 hundredths. 2 and 90 hundredths, and then 3 holes. These are equivalent. These are the same. If I have something like 2 and 1 tenth, that means I have 0 hundredths. So I could also say 2 and 10 hundredths. That's why those are equivalent. In this case, I have 1 tenth. Here I have 1 tenth and 0 hundredths. That's the same value. So if I look now, I have 35 hundredths up here. So 2 and 35 hundredths. So here's 2 and 10 hundredths, 2 and 20 hundredths, 2 and 30 hundredths, and 2 and 40 hundredths. So my 35 hundredths, that's going to be between 30 hundredths and 40 hundredths. And I should hopefully at this point in the year know 5 is my midpoint of most things. So between 30 and 40, right in the middle would be 2 and 35 hundredths. All right, so we're going to look at number 3 on the back now, and then we're going to go back and finish the sheet. So I'm going to, again, to do this, I want to start with my place value chart. Ones, tenths, hundredths. So if I look at this first one, I have 2 ones and 2 hundredths. So if I write it as a fraction, that's 2 ones and 2 hundredths. That hundredths tells me my denominator has to be 100, and I only have 2 of them. So to write it as a decimal, I'm going to go over to my place value chart. I have 2 ones. I don't see anything about tenths, and I see 2 hundredths. So because 2's a digit and 2's a digit, I'm good. I need to give myself 0 tenths. My decimal becomes 2 and 2 hundredths. I have to include this 0 here. Let's look at B now. At B, I have 2 ones and 16 hundredths. So that's 2 and 16 hundredths is a fraction. When I go to write this as a decimal, I have a problem. 16 hundredths, that is not a digit. So I can't write a 16 in the hundreds place. That's not going to work. So I have 2 ones, so that can go in the ones place. That's a digit. But I have to fix this 16 hundredths. So I have 2. I'm going to expand it into 2 plus 10 hundredths plus 6 hundredths. So now my 6 and my 2, those are both digits. And I can fix my 10. This is 2 plus 1/10 plus 6 hundredths. So now I can plug this into my place value chart. I have 1/10 and I have 6 hundredths. So my decimal becomes 2 and 16 hundredths. All right, your job is to do the rest of the front and back of this sheet.